think the first is consumer. Always a consumer. You have to understand what you're solving this problem for. When it is said direct to consumer, it's not a trading business. It's almost that your product is going to the consumer, which the consumer has to like. And in this, the obsession for consumer has to be super high. Else, there are so many players doing the same thing, because necessarily in D2C you're not innovating the product as such. You're actually innovating the offering which you're giving to the consumer, right? Or the way, or the or the product feature which is different than what the category has always been. So I think the best advice is that focus on the consumer, talk to consumer, listen to the consumer all the time. That will help you make your product better and process better. My second advice to any D2C founder would be that when you are focusing on a category, try to make sure that you are controlling the entire stack of the business. You are a full stack business for that category. What I mean is that when you are talking about say the glasses, what we do, we ensure that the manufacturing of the product, getting the raw materials, manufacturing of the product, supply chain, end consumer service, retail, all are taken in your control. Because I think that without that, you're almost outsourcing everything, and the whole approach of direct to consumer dies away. So you have to vertically integrate as much as possible in the category to make sure that the consumer, what you are listening to, you are able to give them the right service throughout the journey of that D2C journey. The third is, the world is moving towards more and more accessibility. Thankfully, we are in an era where you can buy anything from anywhere and it will reach to your home in few days. So don't limit your access. What I'm saying is that many times I hear that I don't want to sell here, I don't want to sell here. This will this is where the margins are higher, this is where margins are lower. But if you're in a real D2C business, don't restrict your access to the consumer. Try to make sure that as much as possible you are available everywhere, right? Whether it is going and opening a pop-up shop, or building your own website and listing on the marketplaces, do whatever is needed to make sure that you reach the consumer with more and more access. Because without that, your offering to the consumer is limited to a channel, right? So my advice at least is that make sure that you get to the consumer in whatever way possible. And my last advice would be that since we are in D2C, and many a times we make a business out of one or two products which the consumer starts liking at that particular time. But we have to continuously innovate and bring new versions of our product, else we'll be not ahead of the game, and there will be so many people who will be copying this idea, and everywhere your similar products will be there. So be ahead of your game so that you're never losing that race, right, of reaching the consumer with more innovation product. So have a good focus on what is the offering to the consumer. While you're listening to the consumer, also innovate on your product and try to give them new all the time, so that they are like fans of yours, right? They swear by your product, and they show off, because the biggest marketing is word of mouth, and that is gonna stay. So the whole idea is that in building all of this, try to make sure that you are listening to the consumer, you are giving them the access in whatever way possible, and try innovating your product again and again. Think with your team that what could be new for the consumer, and offer that to the consumer in the best possible prices. That's my best advice for D2C today.